Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Every once in a while, there's a game that gets showcased or revealed, teased, or whatever, and it gets you excited. You're looking forward to the game, and then all of a sudden, and actually, this statement can be applied to movies and TV shows all across the entertainment industry. When all of a sudden, the director, an actor, someone directly involved with piece of entertainment comes out and speaks, and your eyes roll so far in the back of your head so quickly that you look like a Las Vegas slot machine. And this is the case with Marvel's Wolverine. Associate Narrative Director Mary Kenny says, quote, "Every lever must be pulled to push the alphabet agenda." My goodness. Speaking with dual shockers about a recent GLAAD report bemoaning the lack of alphabet characters in video games. I'm going to say alphabet because I'm going to slip and stumble and fall all over my mouth and tongue. And I'm not going to continue that. I'm going to stumble over the word LGBTQ+. That's what I'm referring to. I mean no disrespect or anything like that. It's just easier for me to say. Kenny described the report as heartbreaking. She also stated the GLAAD report tells us something key. Oh boy, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Games are a way for LGBTQ people to socialize. I have news for you, darling. It's a way for everyone from all walks of life, all sexualities, all skin tones, melanin content, all regions of the planet to socialize. What makes the LGBTQ plus demographic any more relevant or special than anyone else? The answer is nothing. You're not a protected class. But it also tells us something heartbreaking, that LGBTQ, I'm getting better at it, gamers don't feel that developers are thinking of them when they design games. Well, why should they? It all depends on what games they're developing. Is there a romance option? Is it appropriate to the character that they are developing, or that they are writing for? If it is, then put it all in the game, and that's fine. If it's written well, if the mechanics of the game and the story and everything and the characters are actually interesting and work well and mesh well, and it makes sense, Cyberpunk 2077, in the story, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to be bothered by it. Oh, Kenny added, I shouldn't sigh like that. That's rude. There are so many LGBTQ developers. Yes, they are. And they are out there and they are creating games. And then you get situations where an LGBT story gets chastised for being handled poorly in a game. I need to find the name of that game and do an entire video on it. Journalists come out and lambast the game for this one particular section about a trans character, and only to find out that it was written by a trans person. Oopsie doopsie. The games are out there. They are showcased all over the place, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation or Steam. You can find specific games for that specific genre. You do not need any sort of LGBTQ plus representation in every single game. Like it or not, it is a niche market. Just like a lot of other genres out there are niche. Nobody's complaining about them. I'll figure them out. Tell the players we're here. Oh, to design experiences that tell the players we're here, we're important, and we belong. And nobody's arguing that you don't belong and that you're not important, but you're no more important than anyone else. Moving on. In order to obtain this, she declared, quote, "We need to pull every lever we have, characters, community support, mechanics, to make it so." What on earth do any of the mechanics of any game have to do with the LGBTQ plus demographic? Mechanics is just how the game plays. If you want to talk about story, characters, sure. But mechanics? I are confused. This is the opposite of what video game developers should be doing. I agree. I believe developers should be catering to, well, I guess it depends on the genre, what sort of game you are creating. Attempting to normalize and lead people to objectively disordered. Oh, goodness. Now we're going to get into, okay, John F. Trent, I love you so very much, but I'm not going into the religious aspect. You are free to have that opinion, but we are talking about video games and stories and pushing an agenda that doesn't fit in the game, in the genre that you are creating. Now, why would I say anything like that? Let's go over to here on Steam. The most played top 100 games by current players. Counter-Strike 2. Does that agenda belong in Counter-Strike 2 or Dota or PUBG? Now, you can say something about Dota where you're talking about the characters. We want representation, but that representation has nothing to do with the characters because there is no romance option in these games. And if you want to complain you want representation, well, I have news for you. When you are playing a video game, you can make the decision, especially ones like Counter-Strike, Dota, PUBG, Apex Legends, even Destiny 2, Team Fortress 2, Call of Duty. These characters are an extension of you. You can put on them whatever you genuinely feel like doing. They're not role-playing games, but if you want to role-play your character in Counter-Strike 2 or your guy in Apex Legends, regardless of the actual history of the character, the lore of the character, you can do whatever headcanon you see fit to make yourself feel the way you want to feel. Representation of every single solitary ideology, demographic, or whatever is not necessary in every single game. If you want it, I suggest you do it, but make it fitting, make it make sense. What other game? Stardew Valley? I do believe that Stardew Valley does have that sort of representation. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 5? You can be whoever and whatever you want to. You can be a female and go to a strip club and have that little fantasy all to yourself. Helldivers 2, Tom Clancy, Rainbow Six, Rust. Oh, Rust, Fallout 4, and Baldur's Gate 3. You can do whatever you want pretty much in those games, especially Baldur's Gate 3. Giggity. Same thing with Cyberpunk as well. Massive amounts of representation in that game. So this idea that there is no representation in there, Elden Ring, it's not fitting for the game. War Thunder, V Rising. I don't know. I haven't played V Rising yet. I'm waiting for June to be on the PlayStation 5 because I am a console peasant. Any number of these games, any number of these popular games, if it's fitting for the scenario, the genre, the era that it's played in, use whatever headcanon you want. But the idea that it must be forced, it must be pushed, we have to pull every single lever in order to put it front and center in every game out there is absolute nonsense. And to hear this coming from Marvel's Wolverine Associate Narrative Director, I believe that's called a red flag. Should we be concerned about what they're going to do with Wolverine? What sort of Elseworld or alternate universe version of Wolverine we're going to get? It remains to be seen, but depending on the developer that I can't even remember. Insomniac Games. Oh, is everyone looking forward to that? I've heard some things. You make your own decision, but let me know what you think in the comments. Is this appropriate for the narrative director of Wolverine? Does Wolverine need this sort of representation and agenda, what some see as agenda pushing, in a Wolverine game? Or do you just want, hope, and pray for a game featuring Wolverine? Does it need romance options? I say no. But what the heck do I know? Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things that YouTube is begging you to do. And I hope to see you on the next one.